Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Friday. Happy Friday, the 28th day of November, 2025. I hope you enjoyed your holiday. I hope you had a good time with your family, warm time, and that you and your family are all safe and healthy, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in health and the first responders that are always trying their best to save lives, along with those that pick up garbage, keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries, even on holidays, for our convenience. Double blessings to the men and women trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People that are here trying to help those that are victims of prostitution, child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on all the perpetrators, profiteers, and perverts from the top to the bottom that make these industries exist. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. During this holiday season, remember, more than 700,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, and military veterans homeless and struggling on the streets of the United States of America. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. So, the Knicks had a big win against Charlotte. Again, it was a trap game in my view because it's a game that Charlotte's very talented, but the Knicks made them look like scrubs. And the reason is Mike Brown has found a lineup that he is very comfortable sticking with. And in the beginning of the season, if you recall, especially over the summer, there was a lot of talk and even call it debate. Who should start? Should MitchRob start? Should Deuce start? Should Hart start? And I remember at the time I was advocating Deuce to start because I felt like bringing Mitch off the bench would reduce the risk of injury and prolong his career. And at the beginning, but I understood and didn't argue when they started MitchRob because I understood that there was more like really an NBA 2K dream lineup with Cat and MitchRob because everybody was thinking of Cat with Gobert. But it really wasn't the same thing. And even though MitchRob is still one of the top offensive rebounders in the NBA, the Knicks would always lose a little something on the defensive side. And a lot of us was a little surprised at how weak they were defensively with Mitchell Robinson in there. And it wasn't Mitchell Robinson's fault. It was the lack of perimeter defense that caused the problem. So when my man Brown started Shamet, whenever MitchRob wasn't starting, Shamet would start, the defense would be much better. But now you had MitchRob not playing, and then this was the game against the Nets. You had MitchRob out, and then you had OG out. You start Deuce, and then Shamet was out, so you start Deuce and Hart. Hart is used to playing with this crew. Hart come into the league coming off the bench, and so he's used to that. But when Tibbs got him, Tibbs started Hart and played him heavy minutes, and Hart would produce, right? So now you start Deuce and Hart. The defense picked up several notches, and they started the offense. The ball's moving, players are moving. Hart and Deuce are dudes that move without the ball, and they move the ball. Very good. Now, the weakness in this, and this is going to be a problem, not a problem, a good problem, one of them good problems. Hart, we know every night he's going to bring 100% effort. We know every night he's going to work the ball. He's going to dive on the floor for loose ball. But against Charlotte, he shot the ball at what is his highest level. And you're not going to get that from him on a regular basis. Hart is a very, very streaky shooter, So Josh Hart, the 3-point percentage for Josh Hart, right? Let's look it up here. So Josh Hart's 3-point percentage is pretty darn good, 38%. Now, but if you're dependent on that, you can get disappointed. Now, he takes, on 38% shooting, he takes three-pointers a game, average 3.4. Deuce is shooting at 40%, and he takes 6 3-pointers a game. Now, why do I bring up these two? Because eventually, OG's going to come back. And you got to make a decision if you're Coach Mike Brown. You got to make a decision. Who you starting, Deuce or Hart? And this now we're not even arguing whether MitchRob is in the equation. He's going to keep coming off the bench. Okay, period. If he keeps coming off, somebody asked me before the season, will Mitch play back-to-backs? And I said, if he's coming off the bench, yes, possibly. If he's starting, no. So if you're bringing MitchRob off the bench and playing him 15 to 17 minutes a game, he don't need to sit back-to-backs. You don't. You'll get more out of him, and you don't have to worry about the injury as much, okay? So I'm telling you now, unless the lineup that Brown is using with Deuce and Shamet and Hart falls on his face, which I don't think it is, or one of them gets seriously hurt, which I hope not, you're going to see MitchRob coming off the bench the rest of the season. And you should. The Knicks are better that way. So against the Nets, they blew the Nets out with that lineup with Hart and Deuce. And Deuce wasn't shooting as well against the Nets. I knew eventually, because remember now, Deuce was sick. He missed the previous game for the illness. And they asked him before the game, Mike Brown asked him, and he said, I'm not 100% yet. But he was going to play because Deuce is tough as nails, like a lot of them cats, right? But against Charlotte, it was only a matter of time. But they're going. I mean, you can see, once Deuce, we remember, many of us, the G League Deuce. When he start getting the rhythm, he don't miss. He don't miss, and he don't need to take a lot of shots. So he gets 6 3-point attempts a game, right? But I bet you let me see, the number of attempts he takes per game, in terms of just regular shooting, he takes what? I'm looking up here. He takes. It doesn't really give you that. Oh, here it is. Okay, so he takes 9 shots a game. 6 of them are threes. Because he's gonna get the spot of 3 with Brunson out there, right? He's gonna get the spot of 3. So he takes 9 shots a game, 6 of them are threes. And he's hitting those threes at 40%. Okay? And not only that, he's since I think maybe about a week or 2 ago, you notice he was in the starting lineup. He scored 25. The Knicks lost that game. But he was much more aggressive. And I knew that was gonna play well going down forward, right? It is. And he's and I know that was behind Brown probably pushing him. Be more aggressive, bro. Stop deferring so much. Be aggressive. And he has been. If you get an aggressive Deuce McBride with the defense he plays, that's going to be a game changer. So for now, it's no problem. There's no decision to be made. You start Deuce, you start Hart, you bring Mitch off the bench. That's going to be the key. But next week, say like Tuesday, I'm going to suggest definitely by Tuesday, they're going to reevaluate OG. Okay? And there's no question. OG is coming back to start, right? We all know that. So the question then becomes, who sits when OG starts? Now, you can go Deuce, OG, Mikal. You can go Hart, OG, Mikal. You can go any of that. Now, the thing is, and I think Mike Brown alluded to it when he talked about the mistake he made having Hart sit on the bench in the fourth quarter. Big mistake. You can play Hart, like Tom Thibodeau was going to play Josh Hart 35 minutes, whether Josh Hart was coming off the bench or starting. He was going to get that amount of minutes regardless, okay? So I feel like Deuce should start. You still give Deuce 30 minutes, and you could still give Hart 35 minutes if you want. Because Hart is one of the rare players that gets better as he's playing more minutes. And I'm not talking about like going between 15 minutes and 20 minutes. I'm talking about you play Josh Hart 30 plus minutes, and in them last 10 minutes, if he's 35, 40 minutes, he's going to be better than he was the first 30 minutes. That's how he is, okay? He's going to come up with the big rebound, the big turnover. He's going to come up with the big shot. He does that. So you can get that out of him off the bench. You just got to make sure you're playing him in the fourth quarter. And I believe Brown ain't going to make that mistake again. But you don't need to start him. So when OG comes back, now you could do the same with Deuce. Deuce is spending his career coming off the bench. But I feel like you're going to get another level out of McBride by starting him. That's why a lot of us was advocating for Deuce to start. You already know you're going to get defense, 94-foot defense, spot up shooting out of Deuce, right? But you can get another level. He gets more aggressive. He's taking 9 shots a game. You let this brother start taking 10, 11 shots a game. That sounds like a small amount, right? But it ain't. You let him start taking 11 shots a game. and you're gonna get another level of Deuce McBride. In terms of both sides of the basketball. So, and he also does not like Josh Hart. Josh Hart, for all his wonderful talent, and I'm not even being joking, Josh Hart is a wonderful talent, man. But the boy does turn the ball over a little bit, okay? So you don't get that from Deuce. Deuce don't make a lot of mistakes. As far as turnovers, Deuce averaged 0.8 turnovers, less than one per game, whereas Josh averages 2 a game. And we know he could get 4 or 5 in a given game, right? So that's another thing about Josh Hart. But he does play extremely well with his Villanova brothers. So you have him out there with Mikal and JB, and they run very well. It's like them when you grow up and there's a crew of dudes that grew up together and played together, and when y'all older, they be holding the court because they know each other, right? These 3 dudes right here play like that. So you can go either way, but the decision is going to have to be made once OG gets back. But one decision is not going to change. MitchRob's coming off the bench from now on. That's it. You're not going to have... That's it. He's going to be coming off the bench. Cat playing the 5. And this is the thing. I know everybody's like, well, he was better at the 4 in Minnesota. This ain't Minnesota. This is New York. This ain't Tibbs. This ain't whoever I forgot the Minnesota coach. This is Mike Brown. Okay? So, with Mike Brown and in Mike Brown's flow and his offense, Cat is better at the 5. I mean, listen, as I mention all the time, there does not exist a 5 human being playing the 5 that can guard Karl Anthony Towns. There is none. They try smaller guys on him. They try doubling him. They try bigger guys. It's all in Towns' head whether you can guard him or not. Once he gets straight in his head what he needs to do offensively, and Brown is helping him with that, there's nothing you could do. And so you can run the offense through him. And look, if you look at the season that we have now, just this season, and this is a short season so far. I mean, we're talking about 17 games. So, but look at the times when the Knicks made a concerted effort to run the offense through Karl Anthony Towns. It's almost they're unbeatable, especially when they're playing defense. And now that you have Hart and Deuce in the lineup with them, they playing defense. See? So you got Hart, Deuce, Mikal, right? And then Cat gets better defensively with them, okay? This is a tough matchup, man. So, and then you bring back an OG. So now you got Mikal, OG, you can have Shamet, you can have Deuce, you can have Hart, and, you're still going. Like, I favor Deuce. I tell you, I do, because, like I said, you're going to get the defense. You're going to get the offense on a consistent basis. The ball's going to move on a consistent basis. And then you could still get production out of Hart off your bench. Production with Hart, Jordan Clarkson, Yabusele. You could still get that production, okay? So it's going to be interesting. But these are good problems. These are some of them good problems that we got right here. For now, though, and you're looking at, if we look at the Knicks schedule, for now, let's see. So right now, tonight, we know we got Milwaukee. And I'm glad. I hope Giannis plays. Because I want to see this new lineup against a team with a Giannis Antetokounmpo on. I want to see this. So this will be a good test for our boys to see how this new lineup handles Giannis and them. So we could do that. And then Sunday is another excellent test because you got Toronto. And Toronto, if you've been paying attention, is doing what you expected Toronto to do. Like, what does Biggie say? I'm blowing up like you thought I would. We thought Toronto was going to blow up. We talking about RJ, IQ, Scotty Barnes. You knew that was coming. They just needed to get healthy. And they did. And now, as you're looking at it, look here. Toronto's 14-5. Toronto's won 9 straight. They're 9-1 in their last 10. They are balling. I don't trust Brandon Ingram. That's just me. The boy lighting the behind, and he just a step out of Anthony Ambulance University. But this particular year, I don't think he's missed a game. I don't think he has missed a game. I'm looking here. Let me see. I'm looking at B.I., and in New Orleans now, B.I. was missing a lot of time. In New Orleans. But this year, B.I. has played 19 games of the 19 games. I would not expect that. And B.I. is a talented, very talented, high-level talented NBA player. Just that he's never healthy. Not for a long time. So before the fact that he's now healthy, RJ's always been pretty consistently healthy. And before IQ got this 175 million, he was too. But then he missed a lot of time last year, which I thought was an anomaly. So you bring all it together. Scotty Barnes is a very available player. RJ is. And you bring IQ. And now you add the BI element to it. They got a team. They got a team. So Sunday is a good test for our New York Knicks in this new line. I'm just trying. It's like you get a new car, right? Dudes, I know a lot of us brothers, we like to have a nice ride. So when you get the ride, you can't wait to go out there and try it out. You know, you didn't test drove it now, but now it's yours, right? So now you want to see how the ride rolls, right? Well, we got the new lineup. Deuce, Hart, Cat, Brunson, Mikal. You got a lineup now. How y'all run against some good teams? All right, we can play Brooklyn, we can play Charlotte. Okay, that was warm-up. That was the appetizer. Let's see what happens with the meal. So now Giannis is questionable for tonight. Giannis is questionable. Okay, so and he was questionable the other night. Then the last minute they pulled him, right? So he's questionable again. What was it? His groin, I think. Yeah, he's questionable with a thigh contusion. Okay, so he's questionable. Giannis is a tough dude. He don't miss a lot of games now. So I expect him to come back in Madison Square Garden against New York. That's the venue. That's what you want. I expect him to be back. If he can't go tonight, then that's a little bit more of a problem than we think. But I expect Giannis Antetokounmpo to be out there tonight. Kevin Porter's still not there, but as talented as Kevin Porter is, Rollins is taking that spot. Rollins just took his spot, period. And Rollins earned it. Rollins did. He earned that spot. He taking that spot. Ryan Rollins, that's his spot right now. He is now the point guard. And you got AJ Green, Kuzma, Giannis, and Miles Turner. They started Jericho Sims a couple of games ago. You know, when Giannis couldn't go. They started Jericho Sims. They got Jericho Sims, our boy, always a Knick, Portis, Gary Trent Jr., Cole Anthony. They got a nice crew right there. So then they got Larry Nance, behind them too. So they got a pretty nice crew. And Giannis is, of course, the head of the snake. So let's see what they do with the head of the snake, with our new lineup. Let's roll that thing out there and see what we got. Then if we get by this crew, let's roll it out there Sunday and see what we got with RJ and them. See what we could do with Scotty Barnes and them on Sunday. See, them young boys, and they balling. They blowing up like we thought they were. They got the talent now. But we'll see. I was surprised B.I.'s playing 19 games. I'm surprised. He usually be missing games by now. Okay, but boy out there balling. So he must be in a contract year or something. But anyway, he balling. So it's going to be a good test. Let's bring it on. See what we got. That's all I'm saying. Listen, I'm not saying they ain't good. But now that we know our team, we got the flow that we want. Brown has said he's going to stick with this for a minute, and we can't blame him. Why wouldn't he? We're going to see how they flow, man. This is going to be good. So we got Milwaukee tonight in New York. Toronto in New York, going to be a homecoming. We got to go to Boston. I like this. Got to go to Boston. Let's bring it on. Let's see what we could do. You know what I mean? So, and then we got a nice little 3-game homestand. Let's bring it. You know what I'm really looking forward to, daggone it, though? Is that Sunday, December 7th game against the damn Orlando Magic. We owe them one. We do. Now that we got a crew that way we like it, by the time you get to December 7th, let me guarantee you something. OG will be back. Now we're going to really see what's up. OG will be back. Now they're going to have their Paulo Banchero back. Bring it. That's all we're saying. Bring it. See, you're going to have to go through everybody to get to the finals. You can't skip. You can't avoid nobody. In the league, you got to go through everybody. You can't avoid nobody, okay? And the best team wins. So, we in the middle of the season. Let's see what we got. I liked our chances with Deuce and Hart in that lineup. They healthy, too. Let's do what we got to do, okay? So, tonight, Milwaukee. I'm going to watch the replay of the game tomorrow. I won't see it tonight live, but it's okay. I'll watch the replay. And we'll see how we do against these Bucks. Ryan Rollins was roasting us the last time we played them. Yeah, Ryan Rollins was roasting us. I think we got over and won the game, though. I think we end up taking that game. Let me go back and look in the archives. No, we lost that game, 121-111. Yeah, Brunson 36, Town 12. Yeah, we lost that game, October 28th. Ryan Rollins was roasting us. Okay, bring it tonight, though. Bring it tonight. Now we don't need to start Mitchell Rollins. No, we don't. We starting Deuce, and we starting our boy Hart. We got Yabusele, who's getting more comfortable. We got Clarkson is like a bottled up dude ready to break out. And we're gonna like when he does. The refs been holding him back a little bit. But watch Clarkson. Then of course you got Clarkson, you got Yabusele coming off your bench. I'm not sure what Brown is going to do with respect to now that Hart and Deuce are starting. That's two pieces that was off your bench. So now you got Clarkson, you got Yabusele, and MitchRob. That's a nice team coming off the bench. And you know what? I like our boy Tyler Kolek. Tyler Kolek is, the young boy was playing some defense against Charlotte now. I was like, look at Tyler Kolek. It's only a matter of time. See, some of y'all was tripping, talking about John Stockton and getting off. Some of y'all just on some kind of quaalude or something. But look here, I'm going to tell you something. Now he getting his defense together. The next level of Tyler Kolek is getting used to the NBA speed where that jump shot starts getting loose. Because he got a nice jumper. When that jump shot starts getting loose, and he already hits his foul shots at a good clip, when that jump shot starts getting loose, and he's still playing that TJ McConnell, that's where he's at right now. I'm liking that TJ McConnell fit with him, man. You get that TJ McConnell fit going on, the little tough, little roughneck white boy on the defense. I think we might have a little something with Tyler Kolek. So now with Mitch, Yabu, Clarkson, and Kolek, you actually got something. Let's get it on. Be safe out there, y'all. Enjoy what's left of your holiday weekend. Enjoy your fam. Don't drink and drive. Don't fight with your fam. Enjoy it. Shalom.